So years ago when I was in Italy, and one of the things that really occurred to me when I'm going in all these shops, of course, many of you know that I worked in a bodega in Italy, but it was so upsetting to me because when I found out that so many of the frames, the torchères, and the decorative items that I fell in love with in Italy were not actually real wood. They were made out of a wood cast material like this. And so I had to spend years being able to get to the point that I would be able to offer this to my students and to our wonderful clients that use our products all over the world. And so I am so excited to finally launch. This is our pre-launch of our wood cast material today. And Jean's going to show you how to be able to work with it in a silicone mold. And then I'm going to finish and show you how to be able to create it with a finish that's really, really beautiful on some of the pieces that I have here today. So as always, share this video, tag some good friends, and your name will go in for a drawing because we're going to be giving away a can of our wood cast to a lucky person. And all you have to do is share the video and tell your friends how great it is and say, let's get together. This is a great new product launch for us to really be able to up our game in our finishing. All right, so I want to be able to just show you this frame that you see here. This is actually created out of wood cast, and it was created in a mold. So bear with me for just a minute. What I want you to think about is if you see a finial, if you see a frame, all of us were thrifting. All of us were going to different fairs and antique fairs, and you'll see something and you're like, it's absolutely fabulous, like this. This is something that I purchased years ago at a street fair in Florence. Guess what? I can make a mold of this. I can use our silicone gel making material, which is also on the Amy Howard at Home site, and we have information. You can make your own molds of things that you love, whether it's a frame, whether it's a torchère, whatever it is, maybe a medallion, an intaglio. You can use our silicone mold kit and make your own mold. Then after you have the mold, you can come back and press it and create it with the wood cast now. So here's an example. This is one of the items that we have done that we have had on our site for sale. And it's a corbel is what you call this. This is made from wood cast. It's stainable, it's paintable. You can use milk paint on it, and it's beautifully absorbent. Here's another item. This was cast. It was from a torchère that we purchased in Italy, and we made a mold out of it with a silicone, and then we pressed in the wood cast into the mold. So it gilds beautifully, it paints beautifully because it's wood. So let me hand that to you, babe. All right, so one of the other things that I am most excited about with this is, yes, you're going to be able to paint and create your own frames. But the other thing is being able to create appliques that can be used with stain, that can be used with milk paint, and create really beautiful distressed finishes on, like this. So in the past, we would be looking at trying to glue clay or anything like that on it. Well, the great thing about the wood cast is that it is literally wood. So I'm going to invite Jean over. I'm going to go on and turn this down. Ask your questions. Jean and I are going to go back and we're going to go through these on social media. And we're going to make sure with Lakin too at the office that we get all of your answers to you today. So that way you fully understand how to use it, because it is so much fun to work with. Now, if we can, come on over, babe. I call Jean my expert.
You know. How do you spell expert?
So welcome. All right, so we're going to go on and turn this down. Hang with us. And then that way, we just want to make sure that you can see what it is that we're doing. These are some of the things that we have made with the wood pulp. Now, this is another mold that we have that a lot of you have done in our ceramic cast before. Some of you actually may have this mold. And this was made in ceramic cast. This was made with wood cast. This is what you can glue to your piece. You can actually drill into this just like it was real wood.
Mhm.
You can screw into it if you wanted to be able to make this into a knob. You can screw in the back. It's the versatility that this is offering us is pretty insane. It's very exciting. All right, so if you would, let's kind of reverse engineer. Let's show them what it should look like, and then we'll come back to that as far as the look. So now Jean's going to show you how to be able to take it out of the container and how to work with it so that way you have optimum usage out of it. But I wanted you to be able to see with these silicone molds, and a lot of you have, there are a lot of different silicone molds companies out of there, and I will give you a little tip. We are going to be launching our own classic, very historical designs of our own molds starting this month. We'll be launching 3 molds in December, 3 molds in January, and 3 new molds in February. And they're all classical and they're all intended for furniture, not crafting, but more for furniture. So, but I wanted you to just kind of see after this dried overnight, I want you to be able to see the detail in this. It's pretty incredible, isn't it? The detail that you get. This can go directly now onto a piece of furniture and you can paint directly on it. You can use your stain. It will stain just like wood. If you want to be able to carve into it, you can. So I just wanted to show you a couple of these from this mold. Look at the detail on that. Is that not absolutely scrumptious? All right, so Jean, just kind of take us through working with this on working with the wood pulp. I'm going to set this off to the side. And then so that way everybody, if you would work in this one, that would be great. This is a brand new mold that we're launching today. And I've laid some of these pieces out. I want you to be able to see. Look at the detail on this. Can you see the little flowers? Look at the detail. It's crazy. And this is this is such a pretty design that can go down the side of a piece, of chest of drawers, a nightstand. Yes. And being able to add just a little bit of detail like this that makes it look like your piece has carving on it can really increase the value and what you can sell it for.
And tell them about the flexibility.
Yes. So I was going to let you tell that. I'm not going to take all of the. All right. So go on and if you want to show them how to take it out, and let me get your goodies from over here.
Okay. So again, you've got your can of WoodCast.
Has 1.4 pounds.
Just under
a pound and a half.
And we've got our mold and making sure it's clean before we use it. With these molds, you do not have to apply any kind of a mold release agent or anything because of the nature of the silicone. It's already going to release. You also want to have, this is very important, is some acetone, 100% pure acetone. Now, you can get that, you can get it online, you can go to your hardware store, get a can of acetone, but the acetone is allows the moldability of the putty because this is kind of thick to begin with. It's got a thick viscosity. And when you're working in these molds, it's got a lot of detail in it. You want it to have more viscosity where it's a little thinner and not as thick. Well, the part of the base of this wood cast is acetone. And so the acetone lets you do that. Caveat, if you've just had your nails done, ladies, do not use this because it is nail polish remover and it will remove it. You can also wear gloves. If you use the surgical gloves, know that the acetone will wear through those gloves eventually. So in order for me to do this where you can see everything, I'm not going to wear gloves, but I am going to make sure that that I will wash my hands when I finish.
All right. Do you need something to open that with?
Yes, I do.
All right. Hold on.
Stand by. We thought we had everything.
All right. Let me get you some scissors. So the wood cast is always going to be kept in a bag.
Yes, the bag is to keep it, hold that moisture, to keep it airtight. And what I'm going to do, and you can do whatever works best for you. I've just got a little cup that I cut in half because I need that larger diameter, but I cut it so that it's shallow because I'm going to put a little bit of acetone in it for workability.
Do you mind if I ask questions for them?
Not at all.
So,
So you say I just put a little bit in there.
so you're going to use a paper cup because of
gonna
the
use paper cup.
acetone. You're not going to use a plastic
I'm not
cup.
going to use you can use plastic, a heavy plastic. Eventually, that acetone's probably going to start eating that plastic. Glass is good. You can also use a small glass container. Again, something a wider diameter and shallow so that you don't have to be trying to go down deep to get that out. So we're going to bring out our
Sorry, I had used that. I folded it over and I should have kept it in the log form.
be a obstetrician. Um, so we're gonna take some out. And again, you take out a little bit. You don't take out the whole thing. This is probably going to be enough to do. And then you see, I'm gonna just drop it down in that acetone. Then I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna, as any good man would do with a bread wrapper, he's gonna run that a few times and then lay that underneath and our bread wrapper sealed. And so now we'll take that and the acetone again keeps it pliable. And I'm just going to start pulling some off and putting it in our mold.
I can't express the importance of having the acetone to be able, because it really does make it pliable.
hmm And when we do this, you want to make sure you're pushing that down into your mold. Give it good pressure. And if it starts sticking to your finger, just dip your finger in the acetone and come back and
Press it in there.
press it in.
The other thing is, a lot of people have used clay. The problem with using a clay with the molds and using it on furniture is one, there's shrinkage with clay. The other thing is the clay, once it dries, you're not able to bend it or to make it fit to a surface. Now, here's one of the major things. You want to tell them?
So if you take your finished cast and put it in a microwave for about 20 to 30 seconds, you can bend it.
Yes.
It will become flexible. So
Yes.
if you have a curve, and it can't, if it's a really tight, very small diameter, it probably won't do a full circle. But if it's larger, then yes, it'll bend around that curvature of a leg, of a bow front chest, a bow front drawer, so you can make it bend around that and then attach it to there with. And we're going to use some super glue that's made for wood that has takes about 10 seconds for it to set. And as you see, I'm using that acetone to make this much more pliable and almost pasty so that it gets down into those recesses where all that detail is in our mold, because you don't want to go through this and then not have the detail.
Guys, and I will tell you, this is a proprietary product. There is not another product like this on the market, period. So the versatility of this, but the process of it, as far as a wood pulp material, has been around for hundreds and hundreds of years. The Italians have been doing it forever. And again, it's part of how they're able to get that very carved look on their furniture, but without doing all the carving. So now, I will say this, as far as what you're doing, you like allowing this to dry for several hours in the mold.
Yeah, yes, if you don't, it's just better to let it dry. In a shallow mold like these are, you can 3 to 4 hours. When you get into a deep mold like that flower mold, that needs to stay that because it's so thick, it needs to be done overnight just to let sit in the mold and dry.
But the cool thing about it is that it does allow you to be like on the larger pieces that you can screw directly into it. So that way it can become like it's wood.
Mhm.
And the other thing is it's the same weight as wood. So it feels like if somebody picks it up, it's not like you're putting something like an MDF material on it.
Yeah, and if you drill into it, you want to drill pilot, a small pilot hole. So now I had to see how much I had left over, and then we're going to take that and we're just, again, do the old bread wrap spin, put it back into our container, and then we're going to put the lid on it. And then what I want to do, to finish this out, I'm going to take the acetone and smooth and remove the excess because that way it'll be easier to demold.
The other thing is too, you want to make sure, what do you need? Okay.
Right.
You want to make sure that it's nice and smooth on the back
Yes.
because that's what's going to allow it to be able to adhere nicely to your piece of furniture.
Mm-hmm. And notice this is already starting to dry, but again, with the acetone, I can come back and begin to smooth this out, get the excess off, making sure it's all down in, and then I'm just wiping off the excess in my rag.
So after you smooth that out, you just let it air dry.
We're just gonna let it air dry.
You don't have to bake it. There's nothing that you have to do. It doesn't shrink. You don't have to put anything into the mold to make it release. There's no need to put cornstarch or anything like that. It's going to release
powder.
really beautiful.
Don't need baby powder
No.
or, again, I want to make sure I've got it down. And again, the excess, very important. You want to get that excess off of around the mold for easy demolding. And find a piece like on this one,
That is so pretty, Jane.
the detail on this is so nice.
So nice.
But see, I've got a little excess, but that's okay. I can flick that off. If I need to, I can take a little X-Acto knife
And carve into it.
and do that. But that is just, the detail is just really nice on that.
And remember, when these have completely dried, a lot of times what I'll do is I'll just put them on a piece of paper towel. And I'll pop these in my microwave. You could put it on a little plate. And the pieces that you need to be able to have it to where you can manipulate. And so after about 20 to 30 seconds in the microwave on high, not on defrost but on high, it's going to make this now pliable. That's after it's completely dried. And it'll make it pliable so that way you'll be able to bend it and curve it to be able to fit to any surface that you need. So maybe you have a bergère chair, you want to be able to add a little rosette, or you want to be able to add a detail. This would be beautiful on there. All right, so you're going to let that dry.
We're just gonna let that dry for a few hours and it'll be ready to use.
So then here's one that you did yesterday. So you want to just talk to them as far as that back?
And also just know that if you have excess and you're using your acetone solely for your project, you can pour that back in and save that.
Because it doesn't take much.
It doesn't take much, and you can just put it back in the acetone if you're using that for the wood cast only.
So you want to just talk to them as far as the back and what you were doing when you were working on it?
Well, as far as using the acetone to smooth that out so that we get a really smooth surface so that it lays flat on your piece of furniture or cabinet if you're doing it
So
on
look, it
cabinet.
comes right out.
And it just pops right out. And
Beautiful, beautiful detail. And a lot of you may have molds already that you've used for different things. As long as it's a silicone mold, you can use the WoodCast with it. This is one of my favorites right here. So pretty. Oh
Well,
my
this
goodness,
is-
that is, look at the fluting on that.
and you can see that fluting.
But again, you can make your own molds with our silicone. You can go to amyhowardhome.com. We have silicone kit A and B. You can cast and make a mold of your favorite frame or your finial or whatever, if you want to be able to create really unique things like picture frames. And we are going to be launching a full line of our own copyrighted molds. But these are some that we have done, that we've applied the WoodCast to them. And it really does take your finishes to the next level. So Jean, will you show us how to take these and apply them to a piece of wood, maybe just simulating the piece of furniture that they're going to be working on?
Yeah, and if you want to make a design,
Okay,
it's kind of like a
thank you.
Kino's palette, or you can pick your mold,
Okay,
pick your design.
all right. I like that at the top. Now, oh, do you have a little X-Acto knife to show them how you can cut it?
Yes.
Awesome, okay.
Okay. So we see we've got a little overhang here. I'm going to take this.
So you can
And-
cut it just like wood.
and I'm just going to lightly work into this. And there we go. That one fits. Now let's go with this one. I'm gonna,
You almost need like one of those little Jap saw things, don't you?
well, this will work. I'm just taking my time so I don't. So you see how that fits.
Beautiful. Love that.
And that's when you want to.
Yeah, it's like now that you're asking me, there's so many, I mean, I like having that. I would normally maybe have maybe a leaf or something like in the center. Do you mind doing that?
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So what we're going to do, we're going to take some, it's just some super glue, but it's the super glue that will hold. I can press, give it 10 seconds of pressure.
Now, can you also use a wood glue?
You can use the wood glue. The only thing is it will not hold or it will not set in 10 seconds. This is going to set in 10 seconds. And then we can go to the next one. You can use wood glue, but you're going to need to tape it or in pressure, and it's going to take probably 20 to 30 minutes to set.
So if we were using a regular wood glue, you'd probably go on and apply your wood glue and then come back and maybe attach it on the ends and in the center with some tape. And I'm trying to see if I can. So of course, this is why Jean likes working with the quick dry glue. But if you're working with a wood glue, you'll just come back, attach it with the tape to be able to hold on to it. And especially if you're working on a curved surface that you've put the wood cast in a microwave, you've made it to where it's pliable, and then that way you can roll it around the arm of the bergère or the leg or whatever. That's so pretty. So pretty. That really elevates the finish that we're going to be doing considerably.
Oh. And again, we're going to hold that down for about 10 seconds and let that set.
Guys, as you pop on here, please say hey, tell us where you're tuning in from, and then ask your questions. Jean and I and Lakin will be going back and answering all your questions on social media, because we did create a landing product page on amyhowardhome.com that answers. We have a frequently asked questions about the WoodCast, but this is truly one of the most exciting product launches we've done in many, many years. It's very, very exciting. And it's kind of your a go-to in your DIY pantry. So pretty.
That's just a second piece here. I may want to.
So it's okay. You don't have to worry about that. I'm just gonna hold
I
it up
If I wanted to, I could take that little extra piece
and put that in there.
put that in and create a. Oh, it's still not. Hold on, I'm not happy with that. There you go.
Something else too on this new mold that we have that we did today. I want you to look how thick that is. Look how thick the leaves are. It's really, really, really pretty. And it comes out so nicely and clean. We both have like paint and stuff in our nails. It's pretty
Hey, we're
gross.
crafting. Actually, this is crafting on a higher
On a
level.
higher level. I love it. This is very addictive. This will be one of your new favorite products that you're going to want to be able to have. Look at this. To be able to add detail, because truly, guys, this is the same product that the artisans are using in Italy to be able to create those pieces that you think you're buying old frames that have been hand carved, and they're actually wood cast. So this is what's going to allow you to be able to do that now. All right, so one thing that we love about this, if you'll hand me that leaf, you can use our stain, and the gel stains, or even just your favorite wood stain that you use. We love our gel stain. They're so easy to work with because of the gel material. It allows you to be able to work on horizontal and vertical surfaces really easily, and it's water-based. But the wood cast will stain just like wood. So when you put it on, it's going to darken it just like it would if you were working with raw wood. So you need to remember when you're working with your own appliques that you're making, they're going to be porous, and you're going to want to be able to stain them if you're doing more of an old world finish. So I went on and stained this one and had it ready. And now I'm going to go on. I want to show you how to be able to create this finish. So hang with me. I'm going to go on and I'm going to apply some cracked gesso. If you've not worked with our cracked gesso before, you're missing out, because what does this do? It cracks the milk paint. It's going to give you texture. It's going to give you a beautiful fissure crack to be able to really build up and make your finish look really pretty. So one thing that I have noticed with a lot of people when they're working with their cracked gesso, they don't make it thick enough. So I want you to kind of see the consistency of it. It is a 1-to-1, but if you want to come back and make it just a little bit thicker, you can. So I'm going to go on and take my chip brush, and I'm going to add some cracked gesso. We're going to be watching paint dry today, so hang with me because I want you to see the process of actually creating this finish. So I'm loading up my chip brush, and I'm being generous. I'm going to pounce down because now that we're working with something that has a lot of carving on it, we're going to probably need to be pouncing it in there like this. So I'm acting like that carving is just part of my wood because I want that texture and I want that chipping and that fissure crack on everything.
Do they want that stain dry before they do?
Yes, yes. You want to make sure that when you apply your stain, make sure that the stain is completely dry before you put this on. Otherwise, if it's not completely dry, you can dry it with a hair dryer. You can let it sit for a couple of hours. It will turn your cracked gesso pink. The stain will literally go into your cracked gesso. All right, so now we're going to dry it. It dries fairly quickly. And you'll notice I've got it kind of puddled up. I'm okay with that too. But I do notice a lot of times when people are applying the cracked gesso that they don't put enough on. and then they wonder why they don't really have a good crack. The other thing is it's going to crack in the direction that you applied your cracked gesso. So you don't want to brush this way and then come back and brush this way. You want to go from left to right in one direction. So the problem is here, it's a time issue because I want to take you through, but I also need to make sure that that cracked gesso is good and dry. All right, so one thing I'm going to do, Jean, could I have some sandpaper? So I want you to be able to look at this for just a second. See how kind of the graininess here. If you were here and we were together and we were painting, which is why I love doing retreats, you need to go to our website and look. I think we have 3 spots left in our January retreat, and I would love to have you come here. You'll be working with the WoodCast, and you'll be able to create beautiful finishes like this for your portfolio. That's part of the whole reason, and why we love doing retreats and being able to connect with everybody. But you want to make sure that you come back and you lightly sand your cracked gesso, because it is going to be kind of grainy. And you'll notice how I'm not making sure, I'm not trying to wear it as much as that I am trying to soften it and get the brush strokes out. All right, so I'm going to go in and blow that off. Now I'm going to come back with a praying wife. This is the color. It's really a pretty kind of terracotta ochre color. And I'm going to be placing that underneath my Noor. So I've gone on and made this. The other thing that I've noticed from the retreats, the majority of the students, they make their milk paint too thick. They think if I make it thicker, it's better. We need to focus on it being thinner, because that's what's going to allow us to be able to have a really pretty crack. So I'm going to go in and apply a praying wife. I mixed 1 part water, 1 part milk paint. And we're going to just brush this directly on top of our cracked gesso. So guys, be sure and share this video and tag your good friends, because your name will go in for a drawing for a free container of our brand new WoodCast. The other thing I do want to tell you, I forgot when we went live to tell y'all, I hope you had a happy Thanksgiving. This is a really busy time, and I will tell you, a lot of people don't know at Amy Howard at Home, we make a lot of our products from scratch. And so our logistics, our toll, everybody is working really hard. So when we have a big sale like this, like we had, just know that it takes just a little bit longer to get your orders out. So we appreciate your patience in advance. Don't think that we don't have your order. We do. They're working on them. They're shipping hundreds of orders every day. So thank you for your patience. All right, so we're going to go ahead and dry this one. We're almost finished. Hang with me. So what happened? What have we done thus far? We've stained it. Well, let's even go back. We put our wood cast on to be able to create our carving and our detail. Then we stained it. We wanted everything to have that beautiful stain finish like we do on our old world finishes. We put our cracked gesso on our stain after it was completely dry. Now you're starting to see how using the wood cast and creating your own appliques is, one, going to make it so much more affordable to upscale your pieces that you're doing. This could literally be a business for somebody. If you wanted to be able to take the wood cast and your molds and make your own molds, you could sell just the appliques. There's so many crafters and decorative artists out there. They will absolutely Love it. So there's a lot of opportunity. All right, so I'm just kind of laying my hair dryer. I'm just trying to get that area that's got a lot more milk paint in my applique, so that way you can see it. All right, so now we're going to come back and we're going to apply the top coat on top of this, because I want to be able to have the carving, but I also want to be able to see the depth of having a secondary color like this. So see the texture? Guys, I'm just going to tell you, if you saw this on a piece of furniture, you would think it was an antique. And that's part of the process with the finishes that we do. We try to create beautiful finishes that look authentic, that look very upscale, because I want you to be able to thrift these pieces of furniture, put a beautiful finish on it, and get a lot more money. I want you to sell to designers. I want you to be able to sell to end users that love things that are very upscale. So part of the reason why the WoodCast is just folding so well into our old world finishes, because it's going to allow you a lot of versatility. All right, so now I'm going to go on and I'm not going to do anything else on top of it. I'm just going to go on and add our Noir milk paint. So I mix this 1 part water to 1 part milk paint. I mixed it together. Make sure you don't mix with foam. You don't want to paint with foam. And I'm just going directly on top of it. If you wanted to do kind of an Oreo cookie effect, a double Oreo cookie, and you want to be able to have 2 coats of the cracked gesso, you could. You could go on and put another coat of cracked gesso in between the Praying Wife milk paint and the Noir. That's just if you want a much heavier crack. Just want to get this everywhere. I love, 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 love that I've got all this gorgeous carving now that I've added. It's going to give that much more detail. So pretty. It just really takes it to a whole new level. You think if we were just working with just a plain flat surface, it would not be anywhere near as exciting when you've got all this carved detail. And we didn't have to carve it by hand. All right, so let's go and dry this. See how you could add gorgeous lattice work? You could literally create a pattern on a drawer. Again, this is one of my favorites. It's very French. You could have this going down the side of a nightstand. And the detail, look at those tiny little roses. Look at the detail. There is no shrinkage with the WoodCast, none whatsoever. And again, after it's completely dry, you can pop it in a microwave and it will allow you to be able to curve it, shape it, mold it into different shapes to be able to fit on the furniture that you're wanting to do. And it will absorb the milk paint and the stain and the cracked gesso, just like if you were working with raw wood. We're on the home stretch. I'm just wanting to make sure that's nice and dry. All right, so now let's just look kind of close up. Can you see? Oh my gosh, the detail. Do you see how this is going to be a game changer on the furniture that you're doing? Guys, this is insane. Just think, we went from just a plain piece of flat wood and we created all this detail that people are going to think that it's been hand carved. All right, so now I'm going to come back with a little bit of antiquing glaze. And my sponge. It's what I want to be able to do. I've got a natural seaweed sponge. I did dip it in some water right before I went live because I don't want to work with it really hard. I want it to be soft. And I'm going to come back Now, I will tell you, I've sped this up. I really should let my paint dry just a little bit longer before I start doing this, but I wanted you guys to be able to see it. So now I'm pulling that color from underneath, pulling some of that off. I can tell I need to let this dry some more. Now I'm gonna hit it with a hairdryer again. And the reason I did two colors and what I wanted you to be able to see is when you're working with like the roping or the acanthus leaf or the rolling coin, all these very classic um, designs that you can put on your furniture, you want to be able to show the detail on them. Of course, your waxes are going to show you the detail. Using your dust of ages down in it is going to show you detail. But also being able to work with a couple of different colors, like it's been worn down as it was handled over hundreds of years. And starting to get some cracking and flaking, which is very desirable. Okay. All right, so now, sorry again for that hair dryer. All right, so now, and those of you that maybe didn't know, but our light antique wax is back in stock. And you may not know this, but we make these in-house. I have to give a shout out to our oldest daughter, Brooke. She is a rock star when it comes to our toll manufacturing and making our products. She's done a beautiful job. So if you wanted to be able to add the gold like I did on these particular pieces, now is the time you would want to add a little bit of size and gold leaf and then steel wool it off. So just for the sake of time today, I'm going to go on and actually go into the waxing part. But if you want to be able to create a little bit of embellishment with some leaf, you'll just use our size and our gold leaf and go on top of it and wear it away with just a little bit of steel wool. So, and then add your leaf. I'm going to go on and take a little bit of light antique wax. Offload it. I can tell this needs to dry a little bit more. Could I have a little bit of dust of ages? I'm going to pounce this down in here. Again, when you're working with really heavily carved designs, being able to come back and do your gold leaf, to be able to do your, just realize the light. You can't really see that as much, can you? All right. So I want to make sure that I've got it down in the crevices. I'll pounce it just a little bit. Because I'm working on a dark color, a lot of times I won't use dark wax because it really doesn't show up that much. But I'll just put some on here for some posterity. Now I'm going to come back. You want to make sure that this is come to tack before you actually apply your dust of ages. You want to make sure that that wax isn't wet. That way it can get down into the crevices. Now I'm just going to make a wad with my lint-free rag. try to get a little bit of sheen with that. I want you to be able to see. Can you start to see this? Get that. Again, I'm kind of speeding the process up here with the antiquing and the drying of my paint. But this is, when I took a little bit more time, the same process that I did gives me this look. So you've got texture from your cracked gesso. You've got your two colors. You've got a praying wife and you've got your black noir milk paint on top. I've got my cracked gesso and my stain underneath, and I've got my gorgeous applique that I was able to attach to my piece and gild it. This truly, as a decorative artist, as a finisher for over 40 years, 45 years, this is a game changer. This is going to change the way you paint. So you want to grab one or two cans of WoodCast and start to play with it. Get your silicone mold or make your own silicone molds and start to go back, watch this video, look through our frequently asked questions and things that we have on the WoodCast landing page on the Amy Howard Home site, because this is going to rock your creative world. This is the have-to product to have in your DIY pantry. And now when you're able to do your pieces that you're going to have in your portfolio or maybe show your clients, or maybe this is something that you do strictly for your own enjoyment, you're going to be able to create the most amazing hand-carved looking samples that you have ever seen. And it's going to transform those simple pieces of furniture that you want to be able to apply your own handmade appliques to. So thanks so much for tuning in. Thank you for your patience. And share this video, tag some good friends, and your name will go in for a drawing, because we're going to be giving away one of these WoodCast, and we can't wait for you to try it. This is our pre-launch. All the WoodCast products will start shipping Wednesday of next week. We love you guys. Have a great weekend.